Thanks for joining us for another episode of Boom and Bust. I'm your host, Tony Clement. I'm here at the News Forum where all voices matter. Today, Boom and Bust is pleased to welcome the 19th Premier of Alberta, the Honourable Danielle Smith, who is also a past contributor to the News Forum. It's a great chance to catch up on what's important to Alberta and to Canada. Welcome back, Premier.
My pleasure. Nice to talk to you again.
Oh, it's great to have you on the program. And first of all, congratulations are in order for the recent Supreme Court of Canada decision regarding the federal bill C-69, the federal environmental impact legislation. Can you tell our audience why that was so important, that decision?
Oh, it was immense. I mean, we knew when, in the way that they drafted the bill, that it violated the Constitution. Part of what they were trying to do was take authority over the development of every single industrial project in the country that they deemed a federal interest. And so, whether it was building highways or building new power plants or building transmission lines or pipelines within our own province, they were going to declare those federal projects for the purpose of doing environmental assessment. We know what that means because when the federal government gets involved, it kills projects. Energy East got killed, Northern Gateway got killed. They didn't fight when Keystone XL got killed, and also Tech Frontier Mine, a major $20 billion oil sands project. So we have seen in our province massive multi-billion dollar investments dry up. We've seen many of our companies that work cross-border choosing to add new employees and expand elsewhere because they just didn't feel that they could get a fair hearing on environmental issues here. So it's enormous that the Supreme Court made the decision they did. They affirmed that the Constitution matters, that there is a division of powers for a reason, and the federal government cannot, on some flimsy pretext, try to regulate indirectly what the Constitution does not allow them to do directly. So it was a clear win for us, and we're pretty happy about it.
Now, before we leave this topic, there are rumblings coming out of Ottawa that they're going to just fine-tune the legislation and bring it back to Parliament forthwith. Are you concerned about that at all?
Well, look, the federal government has been acting illegally for the last 4 years. Let's be very clear about what this means, because statutes are one thing, but the Constitution is the highest law of the land. They seem to defer to the Supreme Court when they get the decisions they like. They cannot ignore the Supreme Court when they get decisions that they don't like. So I can tell you that we will be making sure that they honor the spirit of cooperative federalism, which the Supreme Court told them that they had to do. And they cannot continue on as if it's business as normal. We are not a unitary state where the federal government has carte blanche to make decisions in whatever means it wants to, in whatever area it wants to. We have a division of powers for a reason. And I can tell you, Alberta stands firm in intending to defend them.
I want to broaden it out a little bit. Obviously, Alberta's energy sector is so critical to the economy. So what are your goals for this sector coming up?
Oh, I can tell you, I'm so excited about our industry. In the past 5 years, they've done two really amazing transformations. One has been the partnerships that I'm seeing with First Nations, the amount of economic reconciliation that is going on in our province, with a number of companies looking to have equity partners so that First Nations have long-term reliable revenue streams so they can also wean themselves off of federal transfers. I think that has been really exciting to watch. And the other is the emissions transformation. Every single company is developing a pathway to become carbon neutral by 2050, be it our Pathways project, which is our major oil sands players. We have an Air Products, which is a net zero hydrogen facility that is being built. Dow Chemical is in the final stages of making a final investment decision for a net zero petrochemical facility. Heidelberg is intending to make the first net zero cement plant by this time next year. So these are the kind of things that I find just so encouraging. And those are the things that I think Alberta wants to be known for, is that we've got an energy sector that is at the forefront of innovation, that we are going to be the best barrel in the world, the lowest emission barrel in the world, and that we want to continue to make sure that our friends and allies and partners not only have a product they can be proud of from an environmental perspective, but one that is reliable because it comes from a provider that's an ally, as well as affordable, because affordability is increasingly becoming a problem. We can do all three.
We've got about 30 seconds before the first break, but it sounds like you're pretty optimistic about the future of the industry.
Yeah, I'm optimistic about the future of the industry. The only thing is that Ottawa has to get out of the way. Ottawa has to realize the progress that has been made. They've got to work with us in a spirit of doing what's best for the entire country. And I've been putting that forward since the very first conversation I had with the Prime Minister. I'm going to keep doing it.
Premier Danielle Smith is our guest today. She is, of course, the 19th Premier of the province of Alberta. We're going to take a brief break. Danielle, just to forewarn you, after break, I do want to talk a little bit more about relationships with the federal government. They seem to be at a fairly low ebb right now, but we'll get into that. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.